got a little bit more room over here. Okay, everybody ready? Well, y'all welcome. I'm glad to have you here. This is a big day. I'm nominating Jake Gadsden Jr. as Director of the South Carolina Department of Probation, Pardon, and Parole Services. I stole him from him. Director Sterling, we were looking, as you know, Jerry Adger left, and then we had Jody Gallman for a while, did a great job, and then Chad Gambrell stepped in and did a great job. And we decided that we had an opportunity to do something that we have not done before, that has been suggested over time, and we think common sense tells us it's a good idea, is to have more communication, collaboration, and cooperation between the Department of Corrections and Probation, Pardon, and Parole. Why is that? Because they are dealing with the same people at different stages of their lives. And they have, their purposes and goals overlap. They want to keep the community safe, but also we want to take these people who are incarcerated or under restraint and work with them to help them become thriving members of the community. And in order to do that, it seems that it would be good to have that kind of communication and cooperation and collaboration between these two very large agencies. Now, Director Sterling has broken all records in the country for innovation and has made tremendous steps forward for us in this state. And probation, pardon, and parole has a very important role. So we looked around, we thought about it, tried to determine what would be best for the people of our state right now, at this moment, and in the future. And that is why we decided the way we did with Jake Gadsden. Now, Jake Gadsden is not an ordinary man. It says here that you were a walk-on football player at the University of South Carolina. Is that true?
That's true.
Well. Defense, and special teams captain. Well, you're going to be a special teams captain again, except it's going to be a much bigger team this time.
I look forward to it, sir.
He was born in North Charleston, and by the way, the mayor down there, Reggie Davis, and Mr. Trainer, and everybody who knows him and grew up with him say that he's A+, and he's an inspiration to all of them. But he grew up there in Accoby, is that how you pronounce it, in North Charleston?
Yep.
Then he went to college, and then he took off for parts unknown and started off in Massachusetts from 84 to 97, various positions with the Massachusetts Department of Corrections. Then he went to Rhode Island, did the same thing. Of course, Rhode Island's right next door to Massachusetts. And another place, Assistant Director of Institutions and Operations from 2001 and 8 in Rhode Island. Then went to Virginia for about a year or so. Then back to Massachusetts, Assistant Superintendent, Deputy Superintendent for about a year or so, and then back to South Carolina, the warden of Tiger River Correction Institution, and then to the Department of Corrections from whence he came. So he's been in corrections for over 30 years. He's seen it from every direction in different places. And his growing up in South Carolina and the experience he's had, including the time at Harvard and courses there, he is uniquely experienced, uniquely situated, and has exactly the right South Carolina temperament for this terrific job. So, Jake Gadsden, we are delighted that you are going to be with us. We know that the Senate will be delighted to see you. We know that the people of South Carolina, when they get to know you, they too will have great comfort and confidence in your abilities, as has been testified by all of your colleagues. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Governor. Wow, this is a little bit overwhelming, but first of all, I really want to thank Governor McMaster's for giving me this unbelievable opportunity. I never thought a kid from Accoby would be standing here talking to you. So it means a very lot to me, and it means a lot to corrections. Because sometimes people think in corrections, we can only work in corrections. We have this stereotype we've been working through for years. And thankfully, we have a governor like we have that can see that there may be opportunities for us in other places as well. Not here with us today is Senator Martin, and I really want to thank him for his support. He's vocally told me that, and I'm very, very happy and excited by that. And last, I have to thank my director, Director Sterling. He took a chance on me not knowing me at all. Oh, and there are my grandkids that I love so much. Which is the best part because they lived out in Oregon and Colorado until November 20th, and they finally came back home, so they can do anything they want. Granddad's very happy right now. But Director Sterling took a chance on me, and he taught me a lot in my time being with him. And you can't tell, but I'm a little bit older than he is, so I was expecting he would learn things from me, but I found out very quickly he had a lot he could teach me, like how to treat everybody the same. He speaks to the staff the exact same way he speaks to the offenders as he speaks to their families and our families. And that means a lot for people who want to be treated as a human being. And if you want to ask why I'm so grateful for this position, as the governor said, we're all dealing with the exact same individual. We all are trying to do the same thing, to help these individuals rebuild their lives and let their families have a better life. And I couldn't think of a better thing to have happen, to be a partner with corrections, someplace I've worked for almost 40 years. So again, I want to thank my family for being here. And thank you, Governor. Thank you, Director. And thanks, Chad. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. I'm Brian Sterling, Director of the South Carolina Department of Corrections. Jake is a fine example of corrections. You have all the folks behind you that work very hard every day to keep our state safe. By when the folks are incarcerated, we make sure that they're rehabilitated, and then when they leave, and this is going to be a nice soft handoff with corrections because Jake understands corrections. He's worked in it since I was in law school, I guess, now doing the math correctly. So he understands corrections, but just a backstory. Joe Trainer and James Burns are over here. If you raise your hands, James is not going to raise his hand, he's nervous. But anyways, James, former Chief of Staff, and Trey Walker can tell you this, but Chief of Staffs know the value of a good person. And James said, hey, there's a guy selling cars at Joe Trainer. He's got some experience in corrections, and maybe you should talk to him. So I talked to him, and the first thing I learned was he played with George Rogers back in 1980 in the Gator Bowl. So I was like, okay, Gamecock fan, this is pretty good. And then I learned he was a Red Sox fan. So that was a double bonus, and I said, well, we're cruising for a bruising with rooting for those teams. But then I met him, and we hired him as a warden, and he quickly moved up as a regional director. And then somebody retired, and I named him Deputy Director of our Programs and Services, which is so important to our missions at Corrections and what we do for returning citizens. And then there came an opportunity with Triple P opening, and I called Governor's Chief of Staff, Trey Walker. I said, I've got a guy I think will be A+ for this job. He has done a great job helping us maintain the lowest recidivism rate in the country and helping us do some innovative things at Corrections. As the governor said, he said, I'm innovative. I think everybody behind you is innovative in everything we do. We have people coming from across the country to see what we're doing at the South Carolina Department of Corrections because of the innovation of the men and women standing behind you. And Jake is a shining example of that. I look forward to our partnership. I look forward to the future with Triple P and Corrections working together. And congratulations, Jake. Great pick, Governor. Thank you very much.
Anyone have a question? Yes.
I'm curious, Triple P, what are the challenges that you think the agency faces moving forward? I mean, obviously, it's one of those agencies that isn't often talked about unless there's a, perhaps a high-profile area going on. So what are the challenges moving forward?
Well, it's doing what we mentioned earlier, and that is to get those people who are leaving the system ready to participate in the community, because sometimes it's a big jump, and they need help. And so that's what we're doing. And Director Sterling has had numerous programs there of teaching people various skills and how to do a whole variety of things. Many of them have never learned how to do, and some have been there long enough to have gotten a little bit rusty. But why don't you speak to that? Go right ahead.
Some of the challenges I think Triple P is facing is finding the ability to connect better with the families of the offenders and getting the community more involved in the process. It really takes a village to help somebody who's really been down on their luck for a while, and to give them a second chance and also give them support. And frankly, one of the other things I think they need is support and understanding from the community itself. Like corrections, it's a field that people don't think about very often. Oh, my star's behind me. But they do important work and dangerous work as well. So I think those are the things they need to do at this point.
I think one of the things that makes Jake Gadsden unique in this position is we started years ago, reentry starts at entry. So we're starting to prepare people to leave once they get there. And we've just opened up a new program where we're going to assess people when they come in and get them the skills that they need to safely transition back into society and to Triple P. And Jake now understands the start of that process, and he understands the end of that process. And we're used to getting things thrown at us in correction, so this is nothing. So,
Any more questions?
What are some of those skills that you're hoping to help someone that's getting back into society that they may actually be good at, that actually work for them moving forward to put them on the right path?
sure, and it's not one thing. I mean, you have to have housing. You have to have stable housing. A lot of our folks have mental health issues, so we need to get them stabilized and sent back out to society and get the treatment on the outside. There's job skills. The governor's recruiting jobs like I've never seen, and these companies are desperate to hire people. So welders, good paying jobs, not just jobs, but careers with benefits, carpentry. You name it. If anybody is looking to hire someone and they're desperate, please come look at corrections, because we want to connect you with these jobs and these careers. If you have a job, if you have a stable environment at home, if you have a place to stay and you're under treatment, your chances of committing a crime and harming someone go down considerably, and your chances of coming back to the prison system in South Carolina at a great cost to taxpayers and society are almost zero. And Mr. Gadsden understands that because of his career in corrections. Yes. So that's kind of up to the judges. I mean, we really don't, we get the sentence, but we want to rehabilitate every person that comes in. Even if you have a lifetime in prison, you can still make a difference in someone's life. So you can come in at 25 years old and say, you know, you have 25, 30 years and you may never get out. You can make a difference in the younger people's lives, and we've got programs that do that, because I can walk around and talk to the population and say, you should try X, Y, and Z, and they're not going to listen to me, because they're going to say, you know, you didn't come up like me, you don't understand my challenges, and they may have a point. But someone that came from their neighborhood, their city, their town, and had the same challenges that they had, they're going to listen to them, and we have programs like that that'll help. If we can reach these young folks, think how much safer South Carolina will be, and that's our goal. That I don't know.
I think 650 individuals.
Fully staffed, 8:30.
Okay.
8:30.
And how many people are you, how many former convicts are incarcerated were you overseeing?
It's about 20,000.
Yes, sir, 20,000.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and the entertainment was free. Thank you so much.